Good day, Chief here. I appear to be in focus. I think my problem was I was trying to focus too close, so we'll see what this distance does. Then again, we can just sit there and play with it a little bit, and we'll go a little bit more out. I appear to be in focus. I see the box centering on me. Well, as I said last week, I'm done at Fort Sam Houston. My worst assignment, or my worst tour, I should say. I leave there with a bad OER. Not really bad, but one of my worst. And headed to Fort Gordon, Georgia. Now, I left Georgia to become a warrant officer, so now I'm going to Fort Gordon, Georgia, where I will end my career in the military, not knowing that at the time. I was hoping to do 30. I'm shy. We'll talk about that later. I am going to wear no more exercises. No more going to the field. I'm in a strategic site. I will have soldiers again doing what they're supposed to be doing, not preparing for exercises all the time and going to the field. I will have lots of soldiers, but once again, mission and doing what you need to do to stay a soldier, just conflicts all the time here. Soldiers will go TDY down range to Iraq, to Afghanistan, to Saudi Arabia, to Kuwait, I think. So we're constantly recycling soldiers. And then finally we end up sending soldiers to Jordan, I think it is, at the end of my tour there. I'll have a lot of accomplishments because many a soldier will ask me, "Hey, Chief, I'm going to re-enlist. I want you to raise the right hand with me," and all that. So I got to do that. I did it, the first time I did it, like I said, was back in South Korea, where I did a state for National Guard, not a federal one, so to speak, because this guy was re-enlisting into the reserves. So I had to do a state one. Kind of strange. But this time I'll get to raise my right hand and re-enlist many a soldier, which is good. It's always good to keep soldiers in the Army. But at the same time, I will fail 2 sergeants. I really feel bad about that. And me going here, even though there are, I think already 3 or 4 CW4s already here on station, I will be the senior. I will be the senior ranking CW4 until I retire. And then the one that is behind me, he'll end up retiring too, but I'll get to that because it's really a sad end when I have to say bye to the military. I wasn't expecting to go back to Georgia, but like I said, I was offered a job to go teach at Port Rucker, Alabama. I tried to put in a word, but told, nope, you're going elsewhere. And it was unexpected, like I said, because I got there March 09 back at Fort Sam Houston, and I'm only there for 2 years and maybe 3 or 4 months before I'm on my next assignment. So that's my shortest assignment, which was good in a way, since I had nothing to do and I had a colonel that I no longer wanted to work for. I really didn't. I didn't like the replacement colonel. He was one of the worst counselors, so to speak. He didn't, like I said, he came in, he expected things to remain the same, but he didn't counsel anybody. Now, if he spoke to any of the regular officers, I have no idea. I think he spoke to one. And but probably didn't share. And the one he spoke to didn't share. So, Georgia. Now, here's a funny thing. Here I am in San Antonio, surrounded by Spanish-speaking people. So I get to Georgia, and we're outside Columbia, right? Columbia? So I'm like, oh, Martinez. There's a town named Martinez here. Oh, no. I get told it's Martinez. I said, excuse me? Where I come from, that's Martinez. Well, where you come from is the same person that came from there, who was a Spanish speaker, but he came to Georgia and he wanted to Americanize his name, so he started a farm or a community, and it was Martinez, since he wanted to Americanize it. I thought that was so hilarious. It really was. And I will live right outside the gate. When I first get there, again, I go with a realty company. I don't like to look on my own. Back in the day, the housing would get these houses where you could look through, and then I don't know if someone raised a fit or what, but that disappeared. You were on your own from now on. I guess somebody complained and said, why are you only doing certain houses? And they're probably doing those because they know that the military people who have rented those houses have had no problems with the management, be it a agency or be it a private person. So of course I go to a realtor, and she's got a couple of houses to show me. She takes me to the furthest one, and I mean, it was far, because we drove down this road, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, we're really getting away from this post. And she finally pulls into this neighborhood. It's a good sized house, but it's built, here's the house, backyard is like that, and then house up above me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not mowing a slope. Plus there was no fence, it was all open. And I was bringing a dog eventually. I had to go get the dog later. I didn't arrive with her. I arrived with one of the cats. Yeah, one of the cats, and not the dog. So then she takes me to the second one. She didn't think I was going to like it, but it was right outside the main gate where I drove through. I mean, you drive out the gate, you get to this intersection where the roads meet, and then as you go further north along this road out from the gate, directly from the gate, I am the first right, and then it's a nice neighborhood. Now, what I will say is that the acreage, so to speak, that you got with these houses was unbelievable. Because I would walk my dog through this neighborhood, and I just could not believe how much land some of these houses had. I mean, where I live currently, my house and maybe the house to either side of me would be a lot there. One lot there would be what is about the equivalent of three house lots where I currently live. And was I tempted? No. I would have to pay state taxes. And everybody teased me when I retired. But we'll get to my retirement later. So like I said, I will come here, no exercises. I will sign for lots of equipment. So, oh, you're the senior CW or the senior warrant officer in this section. You get to sign for all the property. What a headache that was, especially signing it over. And what a headache it was to get people to do their job, because I had equipment that was no longer in use, and of course had to account for it every month, because there we only did like 10%, and then once a year of course you had to account for everything. But even doing the 10%, it was like I had to go to like 2 other locations, a storage locker out in the motor pool, and then I can't remember where else I had to go. Oh, I had some hard drives stored somewhere else because they had to be stored somewhere else because the motor pool wasn't acceptable. So I was, going 3 different places, and then some of the stuff that I owned was for my section, but of course it was in the general population of all the servers. So there was another location, so I had to go there. But at least the serial numbers were at the front, not at the rear like that battery situation that I had in South Korea with the company commander. So it was just getting monotonous, because even with my cheat sheet, you're like, oh god, yeah, I got to go there. And sometimes I would write the rack and the row, and then. But trying to, like I said, it was a headache trying to get some of this stuff turned in. We finally started like about almost the last year I was there, and we got rid of a lot, because even the warrant officer that was in charge of getting rid of this stuff, he says, I can only get rid of so much, because he says, I got to do all this paperwork to sort of justify why he's getting rid of it. Mostly it was outdated equipment. And it was so nice to get rid of some of that stuff. It really was, because my property on my hand receipt kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where it was getting more manageable. But of course I had every machine in 2 shops, and every machine of course has about 5 different serial numbers, because you got X amount of monitors, you got X amount of computers on every station, and it's just like, and of course, nope, because you're going down looking at all the monitors first, and then you got to come back and do all the computers, and then you got to come back and do some other stuff, and it's just like, that was the only thing I didn't care about that place, was couldn't wait to sign all that stuff over. And then when I signed it over, I still helped him to get some of this stuff DX, and we got rid of a lot, and he was more happier than I was, because I probably killed about 1/3 of my hand receipt. So I'm in Georgia. I got a nice place. I have a lousy backyard. This one's a slope too, but not as bad as that other one. This is more of a gentler slope, but yeah. And it was nice being outside the gate, but due to Georgia being more humid than this place, just couldn't walk or ride a bike to work, because where I worked, did we have a shower? Can't remember if we had a shower inside the facility. I think we did, or several showers, but welcome to Georgia. Like I said, I became a warrant officer to get out of that place, and now I'm ending my career in Georgia. Chief out. Freedom's not free. You know what to do with vets. Bye.